speak or listen to the Hill talk about this briefly, and then I got a Fox one and then a CNN one, because we're going to look at everybody, all right? Because Tim Tom is in charge over here, and I think they're trying to say that he knew about all this. Imagine seriously if he happened to be vice president and this still got out, child. So I don't know who these people are on the Hill. I forget his name, and then this new host girl, I guess.
Oh no, what did I?
In like gray.
Oh,
You're
wow.
wearing that gray dress.
It matches the dreary weather. We're over this coldness.
It is dreary. It's
rainy
dark
day.
in here. We see nothing.
Coming up on Rising, some low poll numbers for President Trump. I'll be discussing that in my lens today.
Plus, a new report from the FBI sources details the state of the agency under Director Kash Patel and offers some heavy criticism.
And a new study has found that preteens who own smartphones are likelier than their peers to suffer from obesity, depression, and even insufficient sleep. But first, Robbie, what's on your radar?
Let's get to it. Now, the mainstream media has finally caught on to the fact that Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, who, by the way, was for some reason Kamala Harris's choice to be the Veep, he is complicit in ignoring a massive welfare fraud scheme perpetrated in his state by largely Somalian immigrants. The New York Times is no longer ignoring this story. They covered it in a devastating report that alleges, quote, fraud swamped Minnesota's social services system on Tim Walz's watch. It's a bombshell story. Let's take one example.
How fraud swamped Minnesota's social services system on Tim Walz's watch. He should be held accountable for this. This is his damn state. Prosecutors say members of the Somali diaspora, a group with growing political power, were largely responsible. President Trump is drawing national attention to the scandal amid his crackdown on immigration.
Example of the fraud. A nonprofit called Feeding Our Future took government money during COVID that was supposed to go toward buying meals for hungry children. Instead, it went toward luxury cars, even real estate projects abroad. That's right. The fraudster sent American taxpayer dollars out of this country. Of the 86 people charged with the fraud, all but 8 of them were Somalians. And here's where it gets worse. According to whistleblowers,
86 people have been charged, and only 8 of them were not Somalians. Okay.
State agents were tacitly approving the fraud because the Somalians have become a powerful constituency in the state of Minnesota.
Hold the fuck on. Hold on. Lord forgive me.
Of the 86 people charged with the fraud, all but 8 of them were Somalians. And here's where it gets worse. According to whistleblowers, state agents were tacitly approving the fraud because the Somalians have become a powerful constituency in the state of Minnesota.
Allegedly. So what I used to do, I told y'all I used to administer food stamps, welfare, Medicaid, and child care. So they was basically telling those people, child, make sure they get approved no matter what it is that you see, because you cannot have expensive cars and be on welfare nor be on food stamps. You cannot, because the value cannot exceed whatever that minimum value is for food stamps at minimum, and definitely not for no damn welfare. Welfare is the actual money that you receive, and obviously food stamps is the EBT portion. Wow.
Democrats didn't want to risk losing their support. And Tim Walz himself is...
Oh, no. I know you effing lying. So this is about Democrats again. Allegedly. This is the Hill. I don't know where they lean. I'm just listening.
Admitted that these programs aired on the side of generosity during the pandemic. Well, he was very generous with your money. How nice of him. Quote, the programs are set up to move the money to the people, said Tim Walz in an interview. The programs are set up to improve people's lives, and in many cases, the criminals find the loopholes. It's like
so then you admit that they're criminals, but it sounds like you got a problem internally with the people who are administering. So were those people arrested? Do y'all know? The people that approved these benefits when it wasn't supposed to be approved, do they get to still work, or are they fired? Because it sounds like that they need to go too.
Saying, yeah, we got scammed. Oh, well, we had good intentions. Should be noted, of course, that the New York Times did not break this story. The conservative writer and activist Christopher Rufo got to it first. But because it is a legitimate story, the mainstream media has been guilted into covering it. Now, not all liberal commentators seem to be drawing the same lessons as the New York Times, however.
Wow.
Here were the ladies of The View redirecting the issue from the failings of Tim Walz to the failings of, well, I bet you can guess who.
Here's what's interesting, because if you're upset about fraud, in 2018, a judge ruled that who had to pay $25 million due to his fraudulent
Child, they're going to find a way to bring the shit back to Donald Trump. Can we ever stay on task, y'all? I thought we was talking about Minnesota, Tim Tom, welfare fraud, and Somalis. And they're going to find a way to bring it back to Donald Trump single time.
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Again!
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Going, you're being a racist! Racist!
And I can't. Okay.
University. In February 2024, a New York judge found him, his sons, and his organization liable for fraud. Then 3 months later, he was found guilty on 34 counts of fraud.
Really, Whoopi? We can't talk about something other than something wrong a Democrat did, rather, for more than 2 seconds before you bring up Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you, Robbie. You said his name was? Every single time. Not even just the View, y'all. Y'all already know. Every single child. I tripped Donald Trump. Oh, my God.
Exactly this kind of blight dismissal of real problems that have occurred under the watch of Democrats.
I just want to know when he's out of... Thank you, Donna Brown, child. Thank you, girl. Shut up, gaslighting. Keep me sane, child. Keep me sane. Gaslighting at its finest. Good word that we used today. I didn't even know this. I'm just learning this right now, y'all. What is going to happen when he's out of office? Who are they going to blame once he's out of office? That's what I want to know. They still going to bring him up? Is that what's going to happen? This is half damn crazy. Shout out to Night J. Thank you, Boo. She said, take Uncle Daddy and go the fuck home. Girl, I'm so confused. I'm so confused right now, and yet I'm not.
Democrats in blue states and blue cities that has caused progressive media to alienate middle America and drive them into the arms of Trump's Republican Party. If you don't think the GOP has the right policy prescriptions, make that case. But don't try to make the case that Democrats like Tim Walz can be trusted to run a city or a state or the country at large. Massive welfare fraud is his record. He let it happen on his watch, and he's still making excuses for it. Progressive government.
It's definitely his responsibility. It's his freaking state. So we're just going to now just absolve him just because it's something that looks bad on him. Let me not bring y'all into it. I can't stand Tim Tom to begin with. And I wasn't voting for Cam anyway, but even if she had put whoever in, them with the you gotta is enough for me to say, fuck y'all. Lord, forgive me. To not do, because if you're pushing that bad, then that leads me to believe that there's something going on that don't make no damn sense. But what am I? Who am I? What the hell do I know? That's just me. I don't care. I said that. I meant that. Everybody else do what the fuck they gonna do. Lord, forgive me. Y'all do what you want to do, of course. This is crazy.
Governance can't survive such massive failures. Defunding the police, allowing rampant welfare abuse, taxing the wealthy so aggressively that they actually move away. That is the left progressive track record. And it's a recipe for disaster. You were chuckling along with Whoopi there.
It's so funny because you get so annoyed when Whoopi brings up Donald Trump in moments that are unnecessary, but Donald Trump brings up President Biden in moments that are always unnecessary, including every time there's a failure under his watch. So I just want to make sure we're balancing the scales. I think
of course, that's what she would say. Of course, that's what she would say. Now, so then that leads me to believe that Donald Trump's name will still come up even when he's gone. Now, I'm not saying that Trump doesn't do that, but you're basically, ma'am, doing the same thing that Whoopi Goldberg just did.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
As a commentator can point out that his Trump University was...
My shoes are untied. You know who else had untied shoes?
Trump University. She's bringing up Trump University, y'all.
Donald Trump.
Just because she brought it up doesn't make it untrue. It was still a fraudulent university. But I just want to point out...
It's a different kind of fraud.
Oh, we're comparing scales and levels of fraud. Either way.
Yes, that is an example of the government deciding that a business arrangement between Trump Enterprises, and private... Well, let me finish. Okay. And private individuals, that they got scammed. They willingly gave their money to Trump or Trump Enterprises for some purpose, and nobody made them do it, and they felt like they didn't get their money's worth. Boo-hoo. This is an example of money being stolen from the public, from taxpayers. That money is coercively collected by the government and then was given to people. Your money was taken and given to someone else for nefarious purposes. That's very different than a judge or a government agency deciding that a private transaction we make, they say is fraudulent.
Fine, but I think we can bring it up.
It's real fraud versus fraud.
Let's stick to the point. So in Minnesota, what happened is egregious, right? There's millions of dollars that were used for causes that were supposed to go to homelessness and other things that just didn't go there. So that is the worst kind of person doing that. And anybody who did that should be charged with a crime. My bigger issue yesterday was that Minnesota has the largest population of Somali immigrants of any state in our country. We're talking about like 25,000 people. So you said 87 people minus 8 of them are actually not Somali that were part of this. So we're talking about, because I did the math, 0.25% of the Somalis in Minnesota are committing crimes. So does that mean that...
What does that matter? If it's, what difference does that make? It's still mostly Somalian people. So if they are this much, and the state is this much, allegedly, y'all let me know. If Minnesota is this big, I'm trying to be in the camera. If Minnesota is this big and this many people was able to do all this fraud, this is a problem. It doesn't matter comparing it to the rest of the state. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I'm trying to understand it as we're live here, y'all. Shout out to Prince. I appreciate you, boo. He said, I never feel bad for taxpayers. Minnesota is oh no. Allegedly, y'all, please let's use our allegedlys. Minnesota is trash and people vote to keep it that way. You can't be a beneficiary and a victim at the same time. Clearly you can. Clearly you can. Oh my God, what the hell? I can't. Okay, thank you. Because I'm just trying to figure it out as we go. Shout out to Mike Love, Judge Love to y'all in the building. I appreciate you. He said, did he say it's real fraud versus fraud? Okay, I missed that part. But what I will say with the reference to the college, right? Because Trump has had a bunch of different damn things over his lifetime, failed businesses and all. The funny part about when people reference it, and this is not me sticking up for him, but y'all gonna feel how you feel. The man has tried many a business and plenty of them have failed, right? But when all these people that now talk about owning a business and I got a business, right? When you put your shit in a business's name and it's not in your name personally and the shit don't work out, you can file bankruptcy. Child, you can file bankruptcy personally, right? Long as you can prove your assets and liabilities. So if he opened the business in the business's name and the shit failed and then he filed the bankruptcy to get rid of the debt because he didn't want to pay it, that is a tax law. So if somebody had an issue with it, then change the fucking tax law. You can't say that he's necessarily a criminal for following what the state tax code or whatever the tax code says that you can do. Does that make sense? So if he couldn't do it, then they should have been bringing charges maybe upon something like that when they was trying to take him down. Instead, you just say what he did, and then you're like he's not a good businessman. Maybe he's not. But plenty of businesses fail because you're not necessarily successful in every single business that you have. Does that make sense? That's everybody all in. Yeah, he already rich. That is what it is. You like it, love it, hate it. It is what it is. But business is different and business is business, okay? And then there are certain tax laws for people in business. So if you don't know what those are, and I don't know them all that well, okay? They change regularly. That's it. So when people say that, I'm just like, what are you talking about? If you're in business and something happens to your business, you can do the same thing. Jimmy said every company we do business with, the majority of them file bankruptcy. That's what I'm saying. Like that's like a business thing, really, at the end of the day. I don't know. A lot of people just don't be knowing. That's all I'm saying. I don't know a lot, but I know a little bit. And what I do know is that it is a tactic for business when people are in business. So are there all the people who say they own businesses and in business really know about business at the end of the day? If you're trying to harp on that, take a look at some of the other people who have owned businesses before and see where they stand and what they did. I would take advantage of that shit. I would absolutely take advantage of it. What? That's why you put your business in your business name as opposed to your own, so that people don't come after you personally. They go after the damn business. Now, if I ever saw Trump University, I've seen Trump University. I've seen his book, Art of the Deal, if I'm not mistaken. He's had Trump socks. He has had Trump ties. Like, I've known this man since I was a child, meaning his name living in the Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Jersey area, right? Then there was, I think he had a plane or something like that. So many different damn things. Now, I feel like he did fuck up Atlantic City, but Atlantic City was trash to begin with. I'm sorry, y'all. Atlantic City is a big thing around here for us. We don't have Vegas. We have Atlantic City. And Atlantic City is not the same as Vegas at all, except for the fact that you can gamble there. That's about it. It is just not a wonderful place to be to begin with. But that's just me.
We should now be targeting the entire Somali immigrant population. No, but the president is suggesting that. And so I want to point out for PPP fraud and paycheck fraud, because Waltz did respond to this.
Well, whoever did this should go to jail like anybody else. But, a lot of liberal people don't like to send the actual criminals to jail. They just say, if you don't feel like you're a criminal, then you're not a criminal. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
He said he didn't respond in the moment, or he responded slowly because he's trying to hand out money like everybody in leadership was, both governors, mayors, and federal government during the time of the pandemic was rushing to try to get people help. That's why we have over $200 billion of these programs that have already been abused by both Americans and people across the board. It's not good. In 2017, for example.
That's why I was against it.
You know what I'm thinking, though, y'all? Because we've talked about the PPP loan fraud stuff, right? And how people think that they in the fucking, Lord forgive me. And people think that they in the clear. And honestly, they still coming after people. People might think that it's all been forgotten, but it hasn't. And they're still coming after people. It looks like they've just made it to here. Because if they're saying that this was like pandemic time stuff was moving fast. Let's not get it twisted. Stuff was moving very fast. And people thought that they was just going to get away with it. Just say that I had a business, even though you didn't, because the rules were clear. It was a GREGPA, if I'm not mistaken, is a law that's at the time that I had to know, or that that law I had to know very well. And it was clear on what the hell it said, where you needed to be, what you needed to have done in order to get any of these loans. And child, either y'all didn't read, not y'all, you know what I'm saying? Either y'all didn't read or you ignored it because you just thought that everybody was going to be ignored and get away with it. I'm telling you, that's what I think it was, because it was very quick. It definitely was very quick. That money was deposited within a week once you applied. And then people went back. So if this is from the pandemic, they probably was doing the same thing, which could be the reason why the people were rushing it, because, you know, it was max on unemployment. It was max on food stamps. It was max on everything. So stuff was moving and grooving. But the rules were there. The rules were there. If you didn't read it, that's a you problem. Unfortunately, I had to read it. So I know that the rules were there. So you know how Americans are. Shout out to y'all. I'm just saying.
From the beginning,
Fine,
I said, don't do this.
It happened. In 2017, 26 people from the Orthodox Jewish community in Lakewood, New Jersey were arrested on charges just like these.
This is, you know what she's saying, y'all? But white people do it too. But white people do it too. Can we stay on task on what we're talking about? We got to go talk about the Jays. We got to go talk about Trump. Can we talk about what's going on in Minnesota? I'm about to cut this off and move on to the next.
Somali charges of welfare and public assistance fraud. They scammed the system all 26 of them.
Why are we calling out the Jews?
We're not. I'm saying I don't think we should isolate. My point is right here. I don't think we should isolate the Orthodox Jewish community because 26 bad actors behave badly in New Jersey. Just like I don't think we should isolate, like the president is doing, the Somali community, because less than 80% of bad actors, which is 0.25% of the community there, are bad actors in a certain state. And so they should not be isolated from migrating.
Okay, but I find it.
And so I don't think we should target these attacks.
Out of 80 some people, only 8 were not Somalians. Allegedly, there have some hold on the political power there. And you have allegedly, let's use our allegedly, y'all. Allegedly, the is he the governor? Is Tim Walz the governor? The governor allegedly involved, and the representative lady. What's her name? Ilyan? Whatever her name is, child. Moving on from her because she getting on my nerves. It's about over anyway.
We do not care